Hi, good Friday morning. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef. Not a weather impact alert, but we do have a weather impact update for you. Mainly the pattern is staying consistent, although there is maybe some light at the end of the tunnel. We'll put it that way. But in the meantime, cold mornings and mild afternoons underneath this high pressure system. Sky's going to look a lot like it does there from that Alert California wildfire camera. Lots of blue skies and sunshine for the foreseeable future. The ABC 10 weather impact headlines, like I said a minute ago, cold mornings in the 30s, mild afternoons near and just above average for the time of year. The dry pattern is going to continue basically for the rest of January. However, when we get to about January 26, 27, 28, then I'm going to actually be looking for the pattern to start to change. Now, I'm not saying it's going to rain. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is the pattern is becoming more conducive to seeing some of those storms returning to Northern California. We'll talk more about that in a minute when we look at the weather pattern. But let's talk about where we were on Thursday. Highs yesterday were in the 60s, 63 downtown, 63 at Executive, 62 in Stockton, 62 in Modesto. But look at the morning temperatures, 34 Modesto, 30 in Stockton, 33 Sacramento Executive, 38 downtown. The average high temperatures are about 56, 57 degrees across the valley. The average low temperatures, upper 30s and low 40s. We were much below average yesterday. That setup is going to continue, including today. Sunny and mild this afternoon, average high 56. Yeah, we're going to top out around 60 in Sacramento, 60 in Elk Grove, 61 Stockton, 63 in Manteca and Tracy, 62 in Modesto, 62 in Vacaville, 61 in Fairfield, 50s mainly across the foothills, some 60s as well. 45 in Truckee today, 46 in South Lake Tahoe. Headed in through the weekend, temperatures are going to remain upper 50s and low 60s, but it's really the mornings that we're going to need the jacket, where it's going to be cold, where we're going to find not trouble, but certainly where we are going to feel the majority of that weather impact just because of how cold it is. 37 the next couple of mornings, then some middle 30s. And this is just for places like downtown, kind of in the urban core. So it's still going to be cold in the urban cores. When you get out into the more rural areas, you get away from the city centers of, like, say, Sacramento and Stockton. Once you get out towards kind of the open fields, a lot of the ag area, away from the cities, then you're going to get even colder. Certainly temperatures near and just below freezing are certainly possible, especially when we get to like Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah, jackets over the next several mornings. It is going to be cold. Again, the average lows are in the upper 40s. We're going to be anywhere from low 30s to mid 30s across much of the valley. Also for Saturday morning, you see it there, some fog possible across the valley. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Here is a look at the weather pattern as we head through the weekend. High pressure continues to dominate the pattern, just sitting right there off the coast. Another low pressure is going to drop in across the upper Great Plains, east of the Rockies. This is going to bring some Arctic air to a lot of the central part of the U.S. In fact, basically everywhere in the U.S. is going to see cooler temperatures to start next week than where we were last week. And that does include parts even of Southern California. Not that it's going to be real cold, but certainly some cooler air is on the way. In addition to this particular setup with the low pressures dropping through really the center of the United States and the high pressure right off the coast, that creates a pressure gradient at the surface. That's a strong surface high pressure. And so the air actually flows out across Southern California for an offshore wind event. That would be a Santa Ana event. So we are looking at more of that to happen potentially Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So the fire danger certainly not over for Southern California. As we kind of continue to wind the pattern through much of next week, that high pressure is going to dictate our weather across not just Northern California, but across the Golden State. We'll continue to see low pressures dropping through the Great Plains into the Great Basin, east of the Rockies, in that general vicinity. Could see some more Santa Ana winds, could see some offshore winds, even across Northern California. But of course, we've had the rain. Fire danger, not really something we're concerned about. Could just be a nuisance wind for parts of next week. But then the pattern starts to change. As we get out towards about January 26, 27, high pressure may ride all the way up into the Gulf of Alaska. You see Anchorage there, Gulf of Alaska, and then kind of that's a lobe of high pressure, while a lot of the high pressure also remains well to the west of California. That would open up that storm door, allow for some of these kind of inside slider type of storms to work their way into California. Now, this is where I have to say this is not a guarantee. This is one model run. This is what it looks like. There's good consensus across a lot of the different weather models that this type of pattern, this is kind of look of the upper atmosphere, is going to be present for the end of January. Doesn't mean it's going to rain. Doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of moisture associated with this storm and with this particular type of block out in the Pacific. I wouldn't expect a lot of moisture, but certainly the pattern is looking very different than how it's looked for much of January. So that's that hope on the horizon that I was talking about. It's not a guarantee. It's not something you can take to the bank. But as we're looking for when that wet pattern might return, we haven't seen it because that high's been sitting right off the coast. Now, as we just saw, looking into the extended part of the forecast, we see that high pressure moving. And that also means the 8 to 14-day climate outlook, which is January 24th through 30. We're looking at about average precipitation across much of the West Coast, leaning wetter for the Great Basin, parts of the Sierra, parts of the Northeast Plateau. So there is that light at the end of the tunnel. There's that hope that we're kind of looking for in the longer range models. But we're not there yet. Certainly, this is about a week and a half to 2 weeks away at the earliest before we see that pattern start to flip. And look, we need the rain. The weather's been, frankly, quite nice across Northern California, but it's not supposed to be that way this time of year. January's our wettest month of the year. On average, we are over 1.75 inches below where we normally should be in terms of rainfall in January in Sacramento. And for the water year, which started on October 1st, we've been running above average for much of the water year to date. However, just within the last few days, we have finally dropped below average on the water year because we just haven't seen any rain in January. So we're about a half an inch below average on the water year, which is easy to make up, right? That could be one storm. That's not a big deal. But the point is, we've gone from wet across Northern California to drier and now below average, certainly for Sacramento. And again, January is one of our wettest months. When we look at average monthly rainfall in Sacramento, it's not only one of the wettest, it is the wettest with almost 4 inches of rain. Typically in Sacramento in January, we've only seen 0.3 of an inch of rain. Not even 1 inch, not an inch and a half, not half an inch of rain, only 0.3 of an inch of rain when normally we have 4 inches or so in January. So December, January, February is really those winter months. That is our wet season. We definitely had the rain in December. We have not had the rain in January. What is February looking like? We'll have to wait and see. But as we saw a few minutes ago, as we talked about kind of the longer range models, there is some hope that we could enter a new wet pattern as we kind of start to think about February and flipping the calendar over to the second month of the year. Now, as bad as we need the rain here in Northern California, we really need it in Southern California because even though we're near that average mark, just a little bit below, look at Santa Barbara, 6.5 inches below average for the water year. Los Angeles, 5 inches below average on the water year. San Diego, now almost 4 inches. Palm Springs, almost 2 inches. For Eureka, it's the 17th wettest start to a water year since 1886. They're almost 7.5 inches above average on the water year, although that is, starting to come back a little bit because we've not had the rain in January. Typically, we have a lot of it. In Southern California, though, downtown Los Angeles, since 1877, it's the second driest start to a water year. Los Angeles International Airport since 1944, the driest start to the water year. Palm Springs since 1922, the second driest start to the water year. San Diego since 1850, the driest start to the water year. So again, as bad as we need some of that rain in Northern California to kind of catch back up, we really need the rain down in Southern California because the last day with half an inch of rain in downtown LA, Oceanside, San Diego, Santa Barbara, that was March 30th of 2024. That was over 290 days ago that we had half an inch of rainfall in a single day. Oxnard, not much better, April 14th. Yeah, it's been a while for Southern California. We definitely need some of that. Yes, the Santa Anas are leading to the elevated to critical fire danger, but with the rain or the lack thereof, that is what is really allowing that fire season to persist this late into the year. We typically see a lot of Santa Ana events in December, January, and February. What we don't usually see is such dry conditions down in Southern California. So the Santa Anas are the why, but the rain is what is allowing that fire season to persist. In terms of snow, Northern Sierra is still actually pretty good. Above 50% of that April 1st average is currently at 58% for the Northern Sierra. April 1st is typically our peak snowpack. So the most snow that we have usually at once is on April 1st. So that's why that number is kind of the most important number. And the average to date is also above 100%. Central Sierra, it's okay, 75% average to date. The April 1st average is 37%. So definitely lacking. Southern Sierra, 57%. April 1st average, though, 28%. So we really, not only rain, we really need the snow as well. Looking at the next 3 days, the pattern's consistent. There's no other way to put it. 60s, some upper 50s, but the mornings start off cold in the 30s. We'll have plenty of sunshine as well. Beyond that, not much change. I've got more 60s, been more mornings starting off in the 30s. So definitely it's the type of weather where you need the jacket in the morning, but you don't necessarily need the jacket by the time you get to the afternoon. For the extended part of the forecast, I know we were talking about light at the end of the tunnel, talking about the potential for rain. It's not there yet at the end of the 10-day here. We need to get a little closer to the end of the month, but there is that chance. However, in the meantime, things are just, again, very consistent. There's no other way to put it. If you're watching on ABC 10 Plus, thanks for watching. Don't forget, we got the weather playlist here on the ABC 10 Plus app with extended forecasts and explainers like this one, along with weather and climate specials such as the future of California's water and mega flood. That is all on the weather playlist on the ABC 10 Plus app. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should get the ABC 10 Plus app. It's free, it's local, it is live, it's always on. Again, that's the ABC 10 Plus app on Roku, Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, the Apple TV, and your smart TVs as well. Thanks for watching.